Welcome to the Kiba Live podcast. We're now on the air. It's Kiba time. The Kiba podcast brought to you by Restoring Hope, Big John's Auto Lube and Repair, and of course our friends at the Wild Child Workshop. Welcome everybody. Now it's Kiba time. Well, it's really great to be here this afternoon, and thank you. It's always great to bring another Kiba show on the air. Hey, we got a lot of stuff going on today. I am operating the show by myself without an engineer, so if you hear a little disturbance or a little problem in the broadcast, please stand by, because I'm sure somewhere along the line I've mixed something that I shouldn't have touched, and now it doesn't work. It happens occasionally on the show. Not very often, but occasionally. But I thought I'd warn you in advance. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I want to sit down with you and talk about community activities. Community groups that are doing such a wonderful job out in the communities. There's so many of them. We'll be talking about the Fruitland Grange is one. We'll jump in and talk a little bit about business networking. And the great folks, of course, Lori Marsh at Restoring Hope. We'll be touching on what Lori has to offer for us in the community and how she can help you. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have had an opportunity just recently to, there comes some email, in fact. Hey, great. Opportunity just recently to go out to Florence Pope Elementary School in Puyallup with the folks from the Fruitland Grange. Now, a lot of you are aware that the Fruitland Grange is still in existence. Well, it is, and it's doing a growing and I would call it a completely reinventing themselves back into the community. They've been a part of the community since 1933. And a lot of people said, hey, I can remember weddings and dances and a lot of activities at the old Grange Hall. But they forget that it exists because, high tech and all this neat stuff that we're doing now and the way things have changed throughout the years. Now some of the newer people I've talked to drive by the building and say, hey, isn't that an empty barn or a warehouse or something back there? What goes on back there? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment, because I want to first of all touch on what has happened this week with the Grange as far as their community drive. Just recently, they gathered school supplies. Now, this is very important. There's a lot of kids out there that can't afford a lot of school supplies. So the Grange took some of their funding and bought, I would say, probably 35 or 40 pounds of notebooks, pencils, erasers, and things of this nature. And I accompanied the Grand Master of the Grange Master, Jim, super nice person, and his lovely wife. We went out to Florence Pope Elementary School, and I had the pleasure of hauling all that stuff into the office. This was really cool. This was a lot of fun, because their eyeballs in the office of the gal receptionist. Wow, you're from the Grange, and what is this that you have, and how can we help you? And Jim says, well, I'm from the Fruitland Grange, and this is some of the supplies and stuff that we've gathered for the kids that are a little, having a little bit of a problem getting notebooks, and will this help you? She looked into the bags and just was absolutely tickled. She said, this is things that we can really use, because you're right, there are kids in need in the school districts. I took a picture, kind of very slowly snapped a real quick shot, and I placed it on Instagram. And, I was really excited because within a few hours, one of the ladies came back and said, with awesome thanks, my son goes to that school. This will really help. It is so exciting to be able to get involved in this again. With all the technical stuff we do nowadays, we actually hide, I think, in our homes and in our offices, and we don't get involved in the communities like we used to. And there's so many needs right now in the communities. There's so much that needs to be done. We talk about homeless. In fact, I did a show on homeless, and we'll probably do another one here in the near future. We talk about different organizations that are operating, but, well, we just don't seem to get out there and really get the spirit. It's so important in the communities to at least take a little bit of time just to say hello to your fellow neighbor. How are you today? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to actually get a spirit back going again, that everybody is in unity to get things done in the community in a positive driving effect, not in the negative effect of, I don't want to talk to the neighbor. I don't know them. I don't want to get involved. Come on, you guys. Let's get involved again. Let's put this neighborhood back together again. South Hill, every neighborhood. Tacoma, I don't care where you live, has problems. Let's face it, they have problems all over. There's homeless all over. There's drug addiction problems, mental health problems, and one of the biggest problems, lack of community spirit problem. So, what can I say? But hey, it's time we get back involved. Now, over the Fruitland Grange, which has, by the way, been here since 1933, I believe it is. I think they were established in 1930 or 31. In 1933, they were fully operational. The building was built and established there on the top of South Hill. And it's been there for over 80 years. And the last few years, it's really been sad because the old girl's been put away. People have just kind of, it's there, but it's not there. And the younger generation doesn't even know what it was about back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And we had, for instance, the Pierce County Fair was there. Well, before they were established with their own location. There's been food drives there. There has been farming expos there. There has been great dances there, dinners there, award assemblies for the communities there. When the 30s, 40s, and 50s didn't have that facility available, the Grange, a community-spirited organization, opened their doors and welcomed them and worked with them in the communities. Now, there's a lot of Granges. I just got the list in here, and it's really something. There's McMillan, Collins, Edgewood, Waller Road, Fruitland, Ohop, Elk Plain, Roy, Riverside, and Waller Road Grange, just to name a few in this area. And a lot of people don't even know they exist anymore. Well, they are in existence. They got a lot of good people that are working hard to make things work and bring back community pride. Fruitland Grange does a great deal of things, from recognition dinners to people that help and volunteers in the neighborhood to, believe it or not, now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say I'm nuts. Bear with me here. This is not what you think it is. Now, I don't want you to think for a moment that this is a little creepy. I know technology has moved in on our kids, but the Fruitland Grange actually gives dictionaries to the third graders. In fact, over 300 of these dictionaries are given out. Can you imagine that? Well, that's quite a few dictionaries to the kids that have an opportunity to have a dictionary, to know what a dictionary is. Now, I know what you're going to say. Everybody doesn't need that. They need a cell phone in their child's hand so that they can just Google it. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a little bit happy to say that dictionaries still do exist. And I know kids are going to Google. But at least they'll find out what a dictionary is about. And I think it's pretty good. Very interesting, too, by the way. Another organization that I want to talk about in the communities, my good friends over at the House of Matthews. This is a wonderful organization in Tacoma. They work in placement and education of homeless men in the community. What a shock, huh? They want to help put men back to work, help them from shelter to education to back in the workforce. Now, this isn't a charity where they're making people relying on living through this process. What they're doing is they're giving a hand up to get them back for pride, self-respect, and send them back in the community. It's a wonderful organization. It's been around for over 9 years. It is privately operated and run. It is great. And if you get a chance, we're going to talk to on the, and you got to keep this under the covers here because my associate on our other podcast, which we produce called The Disruptors, the other disruptor, Candace Thompson, founder of the Wild Child Workshop, she doesn't know, but we're going to have an actual podcast on the Disruptors with the founders of Matthew House. And when that date comes out, I'll make sure that on the show we'll tell you what date that is, because that's really going to be wonderful. They're going to be on the show. They're going to be talking about what the House of Matthew is all about. Great organization indeed. I hate to bring this up because it always distresses me, but I have to remember that my good host and friend and business colleague, Candace Thompson, has really outdone herself this time. Now, you know, on the Disruptors, we talk about business and what's going on in our business communities. We've had people on, like the Doctors in the House, our good friend Troy Munson, Dr. Troy Munson in Orting. He is the chiropractic wellness and family wellness person. They call him Chiro Man or Chiro something or other on his email address. I'm trying to figure that one out, and I'll work with that with Mr. Producer here to figure out if we can get this thing straightened out. But Candace wanted me to mention to you that, hey, classes are really filling up for her workshop. Now, we haven't talked about this on the air, but on, I believe it is Thursdays and Saturdays now, she has actual business workshops. Now, last Saturday, yours truly was gagged, put into a chair, into the actual workshop classroom, and got to watch what happens at these workshops. They're very small. She only takes in 6-7 people at a time per 3-hour session. We talk about branding, about building your business, accountability. They talk about revenue streams. She talks business. But when she talks business, you want to listen because you'll learn so much about yourself, about your goals, and about how business is really put together to become from local, as she says, to global. Woman with more knowledge and more love in her heart, and she shares it at these classes. That is the Wild Child Workshop, Candace Thompson. We're going to have some dates and the next series of classes. On our next show, we will be announcing them because she's right now putting them together. And it's really exciting for sure. Hey, are you a business person? In one of the other organizations I'm really proud to talk about is BP&J. That's People, Business, and Java. They meet every Friday in the IHOP restaurant up on South Hill. Great place to meet, by the way. They meet, and they're a group of over 27 or 28 businesses that get into community activities. They get into helping build community better business. I like that. Building better business in the community. Any way you word it, I'll tell you what it refers back to. It refers back to professional people that do a great job, that are members of our community. And they all work together. And it's a wonderful format. They have testimonials. They have presentators who come up and talk about their businesses. Every week we have a different one. So if you get an opportunity, if you're a business person and you're in the neighborhood, it starts at 7:30 at the IHOP restaurant. That's right on top of South Hill by the theater. And I think you'll really enjoy the IHOP.